guys, how's it going? Jeremy Donson here with thedrumprofessor.com, and today we're going to be going over Wipeout by the Surfaris. Super fun song, really popular, and it's very busy for us drummers. So let's check it out. Alright, so to begin to break down this tom section, we want to have a good understanding of accent versus non-accented notes and how stick heights can correspond with that. So if you ever did drumline, you know that there are stick height numbers based on whatever dynamic or loudness or softness of the music is at place at that time. So the stick heights would be 1, which is barely off the drum, 3, 6, 9, which is almost full extension of the wrist, but not quite, just a little down from full extension, 12, which is perpendicular to the floor, and then a 15, you're pretty much hurting something. Now, if you never did drumline, not a big deal, but those stick height numbers really help with dynamic contrast versus accents and then doing non-accented notes. So when we have an accent, we want to go up to a 9, which is almost full extension of the wrist, down just a little bit. If you're moving your arms real crazy, then it's not really going to help too much because your arms you're like Animal on the Muppets, right? Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but if you can use your wrist to control it, you'll be able to do a lot more with this speed that's going on. You can handle it a lot easier. So we want our wrist to be full extension down just a hair, and then everything else we want to be at about a 3. So a 3 literally is no more than that far off of the tom. That's where you want it to be. That'll give you a nice dynamic contrast between an accented and non-accented note. Okay? So in order to do that, we need to have some stick control, which means when you hit the accent, you need to squeeze with your fingers down here, especially your middle ring and pinky finger, to keep the stick just over the drum. Because if you hit it, a lot of times I see this happen with drummers is they'll do this. If you notice, most of the rights were too loud, it's because there wasn't enough stick control there. So we want to go squeeze and hold it just over that tom, just like that. Okay, that'll help a lot, making sure it doesn't sound like this. Too many rights, but it sounds more like this. Clearly hear the accents versus the non-accented notes. So first of all, that's a huge part of how to do this correctly. Secondly, let's count it. Now every accent that you do, there's also a bass drum with it. So we're going to go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and. So you accent on every downbeat 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1. And then instead of on 2, you accent on the and of 2. So it's going to go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and. Okay? Now after the and of 2, the next accent is on 4. So putting that together, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And you can get pretty winded counting like that, but that gives you an idea of the counting. Now another way to think of this is just get used to what the drummer's doing. You can learn it by ear, don't necessarily have to count it, you just listen to it and you'll get the idea of how it goes. Now if when you're doing this it sounds kind of uneven, like right? Then I would say just practice doing straight sticking, maybe just on the snare drum, just single stroke roll. So you can get it nice and even. You don't have to go that fast, but just get it really smooth. Then then you can add in your accents. Okay, so we do this a total of 5 times. 5 times we do this. And then the last one, we do something different. Let's go ahead and put this with the music and see what it sounds like now. Starting at 29 seconds. So in that 6th measure, you simply just accent every downbeat. So 8 accents, and then you go on to crashing into the main beat. Okay, so when you crash into this particular section, when we started at 29 seconds, you go 1. So you crash on 1 and then just start on the 2nd accent. So you actually cut out the first E and A. So in other words, instead of doing this, this. So you go crash 2 E and A, right? 1, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. So on that one, you're just going to leave out E and A of 1. That's it. So again, you start on the 2nd accent. Okay. All right. So now we know how to do the tom section. We know how to do stick control there. And if you need a little bit more in-depth discussion on how to do stick control, then just message me, let me know, we can do a follow-up. But so basically you just do this 5 times, and then the 6th time you accent 8 times on the downbeat. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and a 6 E and a 7 E and a 8 E and a 1. But so I hope this is really helpful for you guys. It's a super fun song. If you have any further questions, just let me know. And in case you didn't know, I'm currently offering a free one-on-one live jam session with me. So if you would like to improve on your skills and find out what level you're at and how to get to the next level in 1 month, feel free to take advantage of that. And I'd love to meet you and see where you're at. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.